Segment 2, we just made the audio go whip. Segment 2 is going to be, I don't know what to call it. We'll see if they have a name for it. I don't call it topic of the show because that's what Kind of Funny calls it, but that's essentially what it is. We have a topic we discuss, and if you guys haven't noticed, our channel has kind of changed some colors and some art and some other things have changed. So
yeah, welcome to the new
second level. So the topic of the show, I don't want to call it that, but that's what it is, of this segment is going to be kind of new level 2. Oop, I almost knocked my water off. So do you kind of want to go over what is new, what can we expect?
Yeah. So thanks for noticing that we changed things up a little bit. What we kind of have opted to do is we talked for a long time about how the channel's been going and what we've been doing, and we've had a pretty steady kind of process for a while now that was kind of brought into place when Jordan was on board with us, and then we've decided that since Jordan has now gone,
it's been a couple months.
It's been a while, yeah, and me and Keegan are still kind of keeping up the same thing. We just decided to make it more interesting. So to make it more interesting, we figured we would add more types of content to the show. So we do have a podcast for those of you that have been,
that's what you're watching right now.
Yeah, that are subscribed to our current podcast, which is where this will be. You will sort of note it's a little bit odd because it's kind of been us just kind of uploading our couch conversations,
ripping the audio. Literally, I upload the video, Tom rips the audio, and he uploads it to.
So it kind of is a bit weird. We still have our intros in there and everything, which probably just laziness on my behalf, to be honest. But what we really
and we
wanted
always
to
say
do,
at the end, thanks for watching this video.
Yeah, exactly. But what I really wanted to do, and what we really wanted to do as a team, was to do a proper podcast where we sit down for a long period of time and just have a chat, really.
As you can tell, that's what we're doing.
Which is what we're doing. And but we thought, you know what? Let's make it a podcast / vidcast, so that we can put it up for people that are listening and they can, walk to work or whatever and listen to it in their headphones.
I've had a few people say they prefer, I know even with our couch conversations we put in there, people preferred that method. Yeah. And I know I do it a lot with...
Which is cool. It's really cool that people are taking that on. I wasn't sure how it would fare, to be honest, when we started.
And just so you guys know, that podcast is on iTunes, we're on Google Play,
all of them.
SoundCloud, Stitcher.
Yeah, all of them.
Level 2 podcast.
The weird part is about podcasts, for those of you that do them or not, is that there's no really great way to check the statistics behind them. So we literally have no idea.
Just tell us if you're listening,
who's subscribed,
watching,
etc.
listening.
No way to see it that I know of. If you know of a way, then let me know.
Yeah, please let us know.
But yeah, we've been trying. We've been trying. Trust me, Keegan is a statistic freak.
I want to know kind of. Yeah. It's not necessarily how many people are watching. It's more of who's watching and kind of catering the material a little bit more towards that. Correct. So say people like cosplay, and we get a big cosplay boom. Maybe we want to make sure instead of doing one cosplay every 2 months, we do maybe one a month or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, something like that. I heard that. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
My dog is above us scratching the ceiling. If you can hear that, sorry.
That's why we both are like, huh?
She's tired. But so the option that we decided to go for was to extend out our couch conversations to something that is more like this, which is going to be in a 3-segment part, as Keegan has already described, which is basically the beginning, how have you been, what are you doing, the middle sort of topic, and then also at the end kind of what happens next. Now that's going to be our Monday show.
And when we upload that to YouTube, we'll also upload it as a full video for those of you who want to watch. It's going to be about an hour-ish, 45 minutes to an hour.
It's a long one. It's going to be a good one.
But we also will divide it up into 3 segments. So if you just want to watch, for whatever reason, the intro segment of us talking about what we're doing, you can watch that. If you just want to watch the topic, you can do that. If you want to watch the ending, you can do that as well.
Yeah.
So we want it as easily consumable as possible.
As many sort of ways to watch it, because obviously we talk a lot about video length.
We talk a lot in general.
We do. But we talk a lot about video length, and it's something that you may have heard us bring up during Keegan's pep talk. But basically, we want to control our length when we want it to be available for people that do only watch for 10 and 20 minutes, but also people that do like to really, really
I love long form videos, but I know there's people that's like, I want a 5 to 10 minute video and I'm done.
Me too. I prefer the longer ones. So it's kind of, it is what it is, but we'll split it up for you guys, and it will be available in full on audio video as well, and that's Mondays. So Tuesdays are going to be our reviews. Now, our reviews, we've decided, are going to be this kind of weird mixture of any and everything we decide to review.
Pretty much.
So, yeah.
That's, I mean, when we came up with the new kind of concepts, we kind of want, like Tom said earlier, we want to broaden what we can do. We don't want to stick to gaming. Gaming's oversaturated. Yes, there will still be gaming. Don't run away, because there'll still be gaming.
It's still level 2 gamers. Yeah, that's our prime content.
Yes.
But we will just be expanding a bit more into the worlds of like movies and maybe music, and also some local things. And, you know, sort of we had a really great time doing some of our weirder content that we put together. So that's
my favorite ones, like the Hotful Boyfriends, the Inner Kung Fu game. Like, those are my favorite games. Like, feel like I love playing the new games. Don't get me wrong, they're fun to play, but those weird, quirky ones are this. Those are always going to be here.
Right.
Those are always going to be here.
And sometimes, you know, we don't get to play those together. You know, there's a lot of times when I play something by myself, it's a short indie game, or Keegan does. And we'd like to be able to give our opinions on it in a bit of a better, more well-thought-out format. Because when you're playing, it's very difficult to kind of give good, coherent thoughts at the same time. So the idea is to take a movie or a video game or a
TV show or comic book, whatever it may be,
a favorite type of ketchup, whatever it is, and we're going to make a little review that's going to be basically footage of the thing combined with us doing a well thought out,
a stereotypical kind of like traditional review versus bites are not, they are a review, but they're like a
in moment review.
Yeah, game in progress type thing. I don't know how to call it.
So glad you mentioned bites. That's what's Wednesday.
Bites aren't changing.
They're not changing. They're the same. They will be in their various different formats in terms of short bites, long bites, and then, you know, we're gonna have the weird bites and things like that. But they are going to be basically me and Keegan sat down playing a game of our choosing, or in some cases your choosing, and
those as of right now are like I don't want to say they're bread and butter, but they're the ones that I think most people enjoy. Those in the couch conversations, right? I've noticed are the two.
Couch conversations do quite well for us, which is why we're extending that format. But also, I think that the bite format is something that we've come to know and love, and it's also what really defines us in terms of the types of games that we play. So,
and it lets us play multiple games. That's right. Like Let's Plays. The problem with Let's Plays is you're playing the same game. Like, we just finished Finding Nemo as of recording this not too long ago, and we played that for a month and a half.
Yeah. And it's not that we get bored of playing the same game. It's not that
you just can't go into the next one.
It's just that, like, part of our channel, we kind of stumbled into a niche where we tend to focus on a lot more of what we like to call the AA titles.
Yes.
And the AA titles are the ones that are $15 to, well, let's say $10 to $20 on the PSN store, that you
sometimes $3.
Yeah, that you kind of weigh up and you're like, should I not? You know,
it's that group that nobody else is talking about, essentially. Right. That's what it is. And I mean, they'll get mentioned, but they won't go in depth about them. And that's why I've had people come to us and say, "Hey, I bought this game because of your bite," and that's, to me, the coolest thing.
That's the best.
We're not here to sell you anything. We're not here. We're just here to we're gamers.
Any kind of money whatsoever, sadly. But you know, it's kind of because it's our honest opinion. Sometimes we do get games from developers. That is true. We will always disclose that, and we will never treat it any differently to one that we paid for.
And I think it's interesting because, like, we're gamers, and part of it is like when you can hear in the sometimes when we're playing games, they're like, "Oh, I kind of want this game." Like Bound was one that kind of surprised me more than anything else. So I was thrilled. I actually bought that game on my account afterwards because I wanted it to finish it. So I haven't played it yet, haven't finished it yet, but probably by the time this goes up, I might. I don't know. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, and so bites are going to be our Wednesday ones. They're going to stay exactly the same as they are. There you go. Now, Thursdays are where it gets interesting.
Thursdays are going to be fun, in my opinion. This is where I'm excited.
Thursday's the hardest one to do, perhaps. Thursdays, we are going to take that wonderful PSVR that you guys bought for us, and we're going to use it and put it to some really good use. So, as of right now, PSVR has been sort of it's on its way. It's very close to being on its way, and it has been announced to have a ton of content on.
And I've pre-ordered a ton of that content.
Yeah, and we've done some pre-ordering with some donations that you guys have given us. Also, an awful lot of demo comes packed with the VR as well. So we're basically going to make Thursday VR Day. and that's going to be us playing a VR game. And I think as of right now, and this may change, subject to change, but
subject to change.
as of right now, the idea is to have both the visual content and also us, I assume, flailing around like
that's the goal.
Like weird
It
rabbits.
may be tricky, but that's the goal. The other thing too is with VR, I'm looking to pick up Google Cardboard, just gives another VR experience. So it'll be also, we're trying to get things outside of PSVR. Obviously, PSVR is the one we're going to have.
Yeah.
So that makes it easiest. But we want to
down the line, we will pick up other VR headsets and have other experiences. But with those, as you know, it's a case of not only having to have the headset, but also having to have a very expensive gaming PC, which as of right now we don't.
And we could also do discussions on them. I mean, if we wanted to, because not to give anything away, but I saw an article the other day about VR in the medical field, and it's real cool what they've got going on there.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for VR, both gaming and non-gaming.
Yeah. So since we're such big advocates of VR, Thursdays is going to be dedicated to that.
Woo! Until we run out of stuff, and they're like, "What do we do now? Let's go be stupid."
Yeah. So hopefully
that's what Friday's for.
Yeah. If that falls and flops, then then we got to find another thing to do.
We'll get it.
As of now, VR. But Friday is going to be the funnest one.
Funnest isn't a word.
The one that
most fun.
It is now. So this is the one I'm most looking forward to. Fridays, we have opted to do basically like a kind of a surprise video.
It's kind of like a jack or not Jack in the Box. What's the term I'm trying to think of? Like a jack of all trades. Like a
free
present.
For all.
I don't know. Like you're pulling something out of the box.
Surprise.
Yeah. Like I can think of what I'm trying to think of, but I don't know what the
Wake
word
up,
is.
Keegan.
But it's when you pull something out of the box, you're like, oh, there it is. Cool.
A surprise.
That works. It's not ow. That's not what I was thinking of, but
okay, well,
that works.
I don't know what you're thinking of.
I don't know.
So I'm going to continue
Just
talking.
Go on.
So Friday's surprise essentially is going to be kind of us making whatever the fuck we want. There'll still be cursing. Sorry. But if we want it to be like, let's say our Pokemon Go video where we go on a Pokemon Go hunt, we will do that as a Friday surprise. Keegan also happens to be quite a handy video editor, so we'll have some of Keegan's video editing tutorials.
Fun fact: Tom's been editing a lot more recently, and today he was doing one of the reviews that we're gonna have coming out, and he's like, "Here, can you pick this apart?" And I was like, "Cool."
Yeah,
I've done it the last 3 weeks now.
Every time I've done one. Yeah.
You've gotten better each time, so
they're slowly getting there. Yeah. Full disclaimer: it did take us an hour to blur a butt today.
Hopefully that video was up.
Butt. You'll see it at some point.
I told Tom, I go, so if your wife asks you what you did today, can you be like, I stared at a butt for an hour. It wasn't Keegan's butt.
It was not Keegan's butt.
It was a lady's butt.
It was a lady butt, but it was
work related.
It's a work-related hour-long butt staring contest.
Because we were trying to censor for YouTube is the story behind that. Because YouTube doesn't allow
YouTube
butts.
hates the human body.
Does not like mix a lot.
We're also going to be looking at doing some more local events as well. We do have some good developers here in St. Louis, so we could be doing interviews. We could be going out on site.
Conventions.
Could be going to conventions. Could be going to general places around St. Louis. I mean, as of right now, you may have
Friday is pretty much it's a free.
It's anything goes, yeah. But we have, if you notice, all of our kind of our social media stuff has changed to Level 2 Gamers STL. And we love STL. We rep STL. So we're going to do a little bit more STL-based things. So
secretly, it's also because we could get it on everything. But
also because lots of people also like STL.
Yes.
But that's an SEO concept.
Yes.
We do, however, love our city, and we want to rep it a little bit. I
was thinking the other day, I think this is the longest I've lived anywhere consecutively in St. Louis now. That's weird.
Yeah, it's the second longest for me.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Your longest, I'm assuming, is Hereford?
Well, Leominster was where I originally grew up. It's really close to Hereford.
Okay.
But yeah.
Lemstead.
25 years there and 8 here. So...
I'm going on. Yeah. What are we in 2016?
I think so.
I want to say 5 or 6
years. Let me double check. Yes.
5 or 6
2016.
years.
Yeah.
I had to think about the year. 5 or 6 years here. That's crazy. My parents are still in New York as of right now.
Right.
So that's where I've kind of, I don't know if I've said this before on the show, but I grew up in a family that works in the music industry. My dad does, and I've moved around a lot. So it's weird having, like, when somebody asks me where I'm from,
all over the place.
I literally go, do you want the long or short story? Short story, so I'm from New York.
Wherever guitar strings are, I am there.
My dad just came back from India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You showed me the pictures of the cows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And cow pies.
Cows in
or cow patties.
Can't eat them, though.
No, nope, they're sacred.
So that being said, I guess we should move into more of kind of the history section we were going to do. Is that
yeah?
Is that
Let's talk about kind of because what kind of brought this about is obviously it's level 2 3.0.
Yeah.
Level 2 gamers, I think, is kind of what we're officially going to call it. But it's one of those things where, like, it started out, I think I texted you and said, hey, do you want to do this YouTube thing? I think your exact response was like, what is it? Or what do you mean? Or something like that.
That sounds like me.
And I tried to explain it to you. And your first reaction after that was like, that sounds cool, but I don't understand. Which is the reaction most people get, because if you don't watch YouTube videos, gaming YouTube videos, you don't get it. And I used to be that guy that didn't.
Some, but I still wasn't entirely sure what we were going for.
So I said, hey, come over, we'll record, we'll figure this out. I don't know the exact story, but basically we set up a table very similar to this. Had my iMac, we had 2 microphones. Actually, we had the USB version.
I luckily had a USB microphone myself, which is not an obvious thing for someone to own.
No,
that doesn't do anything related to that. But it was my my microphone that I had purchased to continue my rap career in the USA, which I never did.
I recorded. I bought my Yeti because I was doing voiceovers at the time for a cartoon I was working on. So that's the only reason I had mine.
Happened to have microphones,
and it worked.
And look at the fate there.
If you go watch that first Stranded Deep video ever, we recorded through QuickTime. The audio for the game is coming through the microphone on the computer back into our microphones we're recording with.
Yeah,
it was real sketchy. So
it was sketchy, and I think
it was a lot of fun though.
I think everyone has to go through that, and that was the point. Is that where the whole reason for us doing this was because Keegan at the time was not a huge gamer at all.
No,
really.
the reason I started level 2, and here's the honest reason why I wanted to start level 2 is I wanted to do more editing because I've been doing music stuff, but the problem with music is there's so many shows in between and so much downtime that with this we're doing something every week. And gaming, I was like, cool, gaming videos aren't that hard to make once you figure out how the hell to sync things. That's the hardest part.
We may even do an entire video on our syncing method. It'll be on Instagram.
You should go watch our Dying Light. We did not know what we were doing with syncing at that point, but that's kind of why I wanted to start level 2. And I was not a big gamer. I in my head, I still am not, but I guess I am because I play every day
I don't
now.
think you can deny it at this point.
I Tony at work always says, he always makes fun of me because I say I'm not a gamer.
Yeah.
He goes, you run a gaming podcast and YouTube channel. I was like, that's true.
Yeah. So I think you're officially a gamer at this point.
Yeah.
So we can. Yeah.
I'm just not a weird Japanese gamer. That'll never happen.
No, you're a Keegan.
I'm my own special breed. So that's how it started. It literally started with a text message. That's how it all started, and then we went over to my apartment.
We knew each other. We did know each other.
Yeah, we knew each other through work. We didn't know each other really well though. Like I was trying to think back. What was it? Not too long ago, we had the 1-year anniversary show up on my Facebook feed, and I reshared the image or reshared the link, and I was like, do you ever think you'd be spending a year with me every Tuesday, pretty much every Tuesday for?
It's been interesting.
We've been up and down. We've had our moments.
Had lots of crazy moments during the kind of to get to where we are today.
Both good
at this
and bad.
Table, which I think is partially why we wanted to do it this first podcast in this way. So forgive us for not being too talky about gaming today. This is the beginning of an era for us, and it's one we're super excited
and it's the end of
about.
Another one.
And and then the end of another one. And I think that I don't know. It's just kind of it's bittersweet in a way because we've changed so much from the beginning.
Well, do you remember our first series? Like our first.
I do.
Series type shows we had?
Stranded Deep.
Not series, but like the show types. Do you remember what they were?
Skills not required.
We have not done one of those in about a year and a half.
2 for reviews.
We did one of those.
Yeah. Let's plays.
Let's go retro.
Let's go retro.
And I think the other one was just Let's Plays. We don't know what to call it.
I do enjoy coming up with fancy names for things, but yeah, we tried. We tried to do a show, like a format show where you would have like a different type of thing. But I think we were overly ambitious to begin with, and then what really changed it for us after Jordan came on board was that we decided to minimalize things a little bit. And we were like, okay, so what do we really want to focus on? And let's kind of stay there and kind of make that the whole thing of the show. So that's when we got our 3-day roll in. It used to be like one a week.
We did 2 a week.
2 a week.
We did
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then we switched Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which threw people off.
Right.
And now going forward, we're doing 5 days.
Now we're doing all
stream.
5 days plus a streaming day on Sundays.
So that's why we're actually, as of right now, we are ahead of the game by about a month.
We're way ahead,
which is nice. We have to be at this point.
Yeah, at this point, we decided that for us to fall behind would be really, really hard to play catch up.
We've done that before, and it sucks.
Yeah, so we are going to have a ton of content ready to go before this even airs.
Yeah. But no, when Jordan came on board, Jordan brought in. He's a big fan of Giant Bomb. I had never heard of Giant Bomb to that point, and he kind of showed us the quick looks, which is essentially where the quick bite series came from, is from what they were doing. And 2 reasons I liked it. One, again, the ability to play more games. Mm-hmm. So I have very much ADD. I cannot sit through stuff very long. And the fact that we could go through these newer games and kind of, it gave us a reason of like, do I want to pick this game up? I like that concept of, because when I go to YouTube, it
became more so us playing games for you to decide if you wanted to purchase.
And I don't like true reviews 100% of the time, just because I don't like putting a score on games, because it depends on the person and who's reviewing it. So like for me, at IGN is who I watch a lot of times for reviews. If Marty Sleva does a review, I know based on his taste and my taste, if his score is a certain number or a certain rank, I would agree with it. Versus if Brian Altano does one, I don't necessarily have the same taste in games as he does, so he might give something a 7, but to me it's an 8.
Which is very weird, and I mean that's a whole bigger philosophical conversation about the subjectiveness of reviews. But I mean, we are going to be doing some reviews, of course.
We have different perspectives going on.
But again, we will have different perspectives, and hopefully by now, or at least within a few weeks, you guys will have a better idea maybe of
who we are,
our various thoughts and purchases and things like that. So, but yeah, so Jordan did bring a lot to the table. Jordan brought definitely a
man
smartness to the table. He did bring a man bun, but he's a very smart guy.
He's a very mechanics guy.
Yeah, and he loves the mechanics and sort of talking about the inner workings of things and understanding 100% all of the kind of the settings and stuff. Whereas me and Keegan are far less detail orientated when it comes to that. Keegan lesser so than myself.
When he was doing it, whenever he'd come in and do a bite, I feel like all the bites were the exact same. It's a bunch of menus. To me, this is what it looks like, because it's not the type of game I play. It's a bunch of menus. It's a bunch of hack and slash, bunch of upgradings, which is fine. I get people love those games. But for me, like I said, I prefer the Inner Kung Fu's. I prefer Bound. I prefer those little ones like that.
Kind of we
balanced pretty. I mean, we had Cratch and Clank. We had some other ones.
We run well off passion at level 2, and I think that luckily I'm kind of an intermediary between Jordan's high technical expertise and Keegan's,
let's go jump off a cliff.
Keegan's retarded height stuff. So it's somewhere in the middle, and I think that I don't know. It's it was an interesting part of the channel.
It's a very critical part of the channel.
Yeah,
looking back on it, and we're still friends with Jordan. We say this a lot, but we're still friends with Jordan. He actually gave us Song of the Deep when we did that bite. So.
He'll be coming on. He's going to come and join us for a podcast or two, and have one VR. When we get that, he's going to join us for that because he was a part of that campaign. He also did our 24-hour Dark Souls stream, which was a big success. And we raised a lot of money.
Completely destroyed after that.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I remember, was it when he died? I would do bot command !die, and it would say because every time he died, he donated 10 cents, I think, or something like that. So I did the die, and at the end of it, it said, Jordan, you donated 10 cents, and it also said, get good. And he said by the end of the 24 hours, he wanted to murder me.
Became something that he was not a fan of.
No.
But yeah, so good times all around. And then, Jordan had his own thing to move on to. He's currently looking at doing something solo, I think. I don't think they actually have a name for it yet, but it's something involving a red beard. So we'll keep you informed on that if that happens. And me and Keegan have been doing this for a little bit, and we decided to chop it up even more.
And again, I think it's more comes from passions. Like when I went to Wizard World St. Louis and I went to Indie PopCon, and that kind of opened my eyes up to cosplayers, because I know nothing. When I say I'm not a gamer, I'm not a nerd. Like, I'm not your stereotypical nerd when it comes to like a lot of the Japanese stuff, the anime stuff. I don't know any of that, but like, give me my Western cartoons. I'm a huge nerd with those. But it was funny because I got these photos and videos of these cosplayers when we were at these conventions, and we were both thinking, because it's all the same kind of demographic. Like, if you look at a convention, it's all I don't say pop culture because I guess it is
I
going
think
to be more
it's fair
pop
to
culture
say
now,
that
but
if you like one group of things, you are more inclined to
like
like
the other
another
one.
in that kind of
Yes.
circle. Yeah, like for example, I do like anime quite a lot, and cosplay is cosplay's weird, but I do enjoy it. I see the benefits in it. And
see, I went there for gaming. I went there for the YouTubers, personalities. I met Charles Martinet, who's Mario. Like to me, that is the pinnacle
right
of me meeting anybody I'd ever want to, except for maybe Dave Grohl. Charles Martinet, when that happened, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And then he talked to me as Mario, and I talked to him. No, he talked to me as Luigi. I talked to him as Mario, and that was like Cloud9.
Dream moment,
Dude,
there you go. And that's previously been posted. His panel has been posted to this podcast before. So because we started to do more of these styles of things where we would go to, or Keegan mostly would go to these kind of conventions, and I had started doing a different style of review when Resident Evil 7 came out.
I did one for Battlefront.
Right,
when
you
the
had
beta
done one
came
for
up,
Battlefront,
which it was weird. The only reason we did that for Battlefront is because we didn't have time to get together and play it because the beta was over the weekend, and we wanted to get up as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Because of that, so that's the only reason I did that style video.
And similarly to
Resident Evil, we wanted to see how we could get up.
You want to get that material up as fast as possible, and
because everybody else is going to do it as well.
Because everyone else is going to do it. But at the same time, we don't really want to be a part of the race of everyone else. We've kind of decided that, and you may have recalled that from the pep talk video that we left you guys with,
or with
last week. But
No Man's Sky. I mean, we debated long and hard whether we wanted to do that, and I think we did it just because we were both curious of it.
Yeah,
I think that's honestly what it came down to. We were dead set on,
and it was it's still technically an indie game.
Yeah.
Even though you pay a lot of money for it. So it still
strong
kind of fell
opinions
within
right
our ranks, and opinions have changed on things that we've played before, and that's okay. And,
it always happens.
It always happens. But yeah, so basically the new idea is more content, more varied, starting with a really fucking long podcast, where we get to talk about whatever we kind of feel like. So how do you kind of feel about the journey so far?
The journey so far. It sounds like a band name.
Yeah,
it's got to be a band name. I don't see why.
Or a documentary or something.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, it started out with kind of me texting you back in the day and saying, "Hey, you want to do this?" And one of the reasons I picked you, and I've told you this, is because we have different personalities. I'm very hyper. You guys can't tell, but I'm very energetic. Tom's not as hyper and energetic. He's more the voice of reasoning. The
voice of reason.
Whatever.
I'll take it.
He's more relaxed, and I get people like different style. Like you probably don't watch Jacksepticeye, but I love him because of his energy.
No,
like,
I have nothing against him.
No, but it's just one of those things you prefer not to watch somebody like that.
I don't tend to watch other YouTube gamers, and it's not for because I don't dislike them at all. It's just
he hates everybody.
I do not. Leave me alone. But it's just that it's not something I get a great deal of joy out of. I watch some things on YouTube, which we'll maybe do stuff on that later. But I never really got into it. I used to watch it religiously. I would when I was playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I was big into that game. And
that was college
I would
for
watch, for those of you that remember Hutch, people like that. But this is back really when people started recording video games.
Back when you couldn't just get a capture card with software and just do it. You had to figure out a way to do
like
it.
Back right at the beginning of YouTube gaming is aging me a little bit. But also then you had these guys that came in and had these wonderful format shows like AVGN and or AGVN and no, AVGN.
Yeah,
and I was right the first time. And that kind of thing, where James was super smart with the way that he framed that show and had his kind of setup. His editing was out of this world for the time period.
And I love watching his he had a behind the scenes video that I watched. It's like a half an hour long.
Yeah,
how he did it, and I was like, that's so cool. Because I mean, I would think to do it at some point, but at the same time, you're just like, you wouldn't think for YouTube, because YouTube,
a lot of effort.
Yes, for not a very long video.
And he's gotten really far out of it. He has Cinemassacre, and those guys are doing an amazing job. And he had his own movie, he had his own video game.
He has 2 video games now, I think.
Right.
I think they have a second.
So AVGN was my first kind of soiree into the idea of a formatted show. It was almost like the type of show you would find on a public cable access channel really late at night. And the fact that you could do that you could basically make your own type of
and there's no
TV
barriers to entry, essentially, other than
barriers other than equipment, which we already had. and just your kind of imagination and what you wanted to do.
And that's why, I mean, I've told you this before as well, but I watch a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of IGN. I watch a lot of Giant Bomb now. I watch a lot of Kind of Funny. I think it's funny. I think it's kind of funny when we were talking about colors that we want to change to, because not that I didn't like the red and black, but I feel like it was very dark at times. Didn't get off. We changed obviously to the blue and white, and I then realized Kind of Funny was blue and white after the fact, and I was like, ugh. But those guys are even from IGN. Like, I love that IGN style podcast like this, sitting around the table just having a discussion about things, and you get the different personalities. We're going to bring other people in, as Thomas said, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Guests are going to be a big part of this podcast going forward. We wanted to do the first one, obviously, is just me and Keegan, because this is our explaining to you what's going to happen throughout the week. We did tell you guys at the end of that Tony Hawk video to pay attention, and
are you still here?
This is what you were paying attention for, is us kind of announcing this new format. And it might not be the super most exciting video, but hopefully you can see how this is going to turn into something a little bit more extraordinary
or
than
here.
The couch conversations
or here. They don't have to see us.
Yeah,
they can hear us
or hear us
or hear us.
But yeah, see you with your ears.
I'm excited for, and it was real dumb because last few days I think I've texted you 3 or 4 times that I was excited to record today because we were done with the old content. Not that I didn't like the old content. That's far from the truth. But the fact that we are now to the point where, like, okay, let's go forward and let's 100% into everything here. I literally finished every single thumbnail for all the videos we had between now and when this goes up on the 31st. Done. I got them all done. Have to schedule everything, but other than that, it's cool because I feel like, okay, let's go knock this door in and take the world by storm. Kind of like I said in my rant. I'm not going to do it here, but it's true. I mean, I'm excited for what's to come. I don't see why we can't do anything we want to do, and that's kind of why we're doing this.
I think the fun and why this kind of came to mind for me were a couple of the more recent videos that we did where we did the streaming coverage where we had like the E3 and the PlayStation press conference and things
Nintendo.
Like that, and considering how completely kind of underwhelmed we are in terms of like how to cover that properly. We are just sneaking streams off of websites and kind of had this weird green screen set up for some of it.
The best one, I think, not to cut you off, but the best part was when, I think, was it Sony, where we're like, why are all these people watching us? And Nintendo was the same way too when I started Nintendo. Right. And you're just like, wait, is this the right chat? Oh yeah, it's us. Hi. Yeah. Like, we're not used to that.
We're not used to that. We
appreciate it.
And it's nice that we got to do that for people that were looking for those streams, and because we did, show the entire stream.
It's a lot of fun.
I got a lot of copyright infringements, but fuck it. So so that was a lot of fun. But also, I think the Pokemon video did really well.
Did better than I expected.
Yeah.
Obviously, that we did it near the height of Pokemania. I think the height is kind of curtailed a little bit. I've not played it for a while. I know you still play it.
I still play it daily.
Yeah, I saw you posted something on Instagram. Again, this will kind of date when we already dated because we told the date. But you just posted the picture of Dugong. Is that the name of it?
Dugong.
Dugong, the little seal thing.
Yeah.
Like, I caught this, yay! Or something.
Yeah, I'm still totally stoked on that game, and I can't wait to play it. Usually, the nests just changed here in St. Louis now, so they have different ones in different areas. So I already text my wife. I'm like, we're going to find a new nest tonight. We're going to go find some mankeys.
You're going to go for a walk. You were at Creve Coeur the other day.
Creve Coeur Lake. Fun place to go. Took the dogs.
That's where I go.
Posted a lot of pictures to Instagram of our dogs. And you can follow us on Instagram if you want to see more kind of weird, personally behind the scenes stuff that we do. But I mean, this is the start of a new era for us. And we wanted this era to be full of not only great gaming content, we want to have the bites, we want to have the VR, we want to have some of the specials aren't just going to be weird shit. Like, they might just be like us playing a retro game or whatever, but they're going to be different. And then sort of also maintaining the review policy of some gaming, some movie reviews, some TV, and then topping it all off with this kind of chat that we're having now. This is the second attempt as well for us to pull off this first podcast.
Yes.
We had filmed one previously where we were kind of everything was switched around a little bit. Didn't feel right in the blood, so we opted to.
I feel like we can actually, like, because we're talking to each other and we're talking to you guys. I feel like this is more of a conversation before we were side by side and you're like, hey.
It was kind of like newscasters as opposed to a podcast. So we've changed it up a little bit in style for you. And we have some fun oddities at the table. We have a little Fallout Boy bobblehead here.
There's Eevee.
There's an Eevee if
I
you
don't know what
haven't
the hell
seen
you
that.
put on the mixer.
That's
but...
Diablo.
Oh, I can't see what that is.
Yeah, there's a little Diablo for you there as well. So, and we're gonna be maybe decorating the table. And if you send us things, we'll put them on the table.
On table. Yeah, if you send us fan art, anything. Well, except for maybe a bag of dog shit.
Yeah, don't send us dog shit.
Don't do that.
That would
Don't
not
make
be
it on
appreciated.